Hi guys, it's me James again. I am showered and shaved. I'm going to take a look at a house tomorrow. Plus, I have a meeting with a couple of prospective lead sources. So, just kind of cleaning up a little bit. Today is an extension of last video that I made, in which the topic was basically the lesson was what to say to sellers when they call in off of your marketing. And again, your marketing sources are primarily going to be yellow letters, which you send out to expired listings, and bandit signs that you put on street corners in the areas in which you're trying to buy houses in. The focus is on how newer houses, houses that are 8 years old or newer, because the loan to value is going to be pretty high. They're not going to have a lot of deferred maintenance. They're going to be, move-in ready for the most part, or that's what you're going to try to shoot for. Uh, Basically, there's another way of finding leads, and that's making calls out directly. I don't know how comfortable you are making calls. You can call for sale by owners and use this particular lead sheet that you see on the screen now. This one is actually geared towards Texas people because Texas and in other states, you're able to use lease option to buy and sell with pretty freely. Texas has a lot of restrictions on lease options and lease purchase. You can do them, but I don't necessarily recommend it if you haven't done it before, just because of the penalties. I always recommend seller financing or buying the property subject to, which we'll go into in later lessons. But this property information sheet is to be used as a guideline. You don't want to wing it or try to figure out what to say when you have a prospective seller on the line. If you gather this information here, basically start from the top, get their name. Obviously, that's important. You want to get their contact information, get a cell phone number, get another number if you can. Find out what they're asking. Find out what they estimate the value to be. See if they're close. If their asking price is close to the value, it may be an issue, but not necessarily. And ask them how they came up with the value of the house. So, your comps, where'd you get that information from? If there's a mortgage on the property, ask them if there's a debt on the property. Say, do you owe a debt on the property like a mortgage? Okay, how much is it? If they're motivated, you shouldn't have a problem getting that information. If they're not motivated, they're going to be resistant to giving it to you. But obviously that's a compliance thing. If they give it to you, then you have a greater chance of getting a deal. You want to put that information here. You want to put how much they're paying a month, how much the total balance is if there's a first mortgage, if there's a second, what the total principal amount is for the second, and the payment as well. If also you want to get the lender, and if they have the interest rate, you want to get that as well. So you want to find out if there's principal, if the payment is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, if it's current. If it's not current, you want to know how many months behind they are, the total amount, because that could possibly be a deal breaker. And in some states, you cannot, if they're in a, if they've been filed on for foreclosure. In some states, you can't buy the property in the manner in which I'm presenting to you. So in Texas, you can. It's not a problem. But in other states, you might have an issue. So you need to know if they're current on their payments or behind. And in all fairness, guys, it's just not for people who've been behind on payments. Majority of the houses I've purchased in the last few years, they've been current on their payments. Um, on this information sheet, it also states if they're asking the asking price and the loan balance are within 35,000, will you sell the house for what you owe? 35,000 is a little bit of a big spread. I like it to be a little bit closer than that, but I say if it's between $20,000 between the asking price and the loan balance, ask them if they'll sell for what they owe. The main thing is really to ask them to tell you why they're selling, or ask them to tell you what their situation is. That will help you a whole lot, because they'll tell you. A lot of times they'll tell you, hey, I don't want to make any money off it. I just want to get rid of it. I just want to get from underneath it. That way you don't have to lead. It doesn't feel like you're kind of leading them or manipulating them or anything like that. They already told you, hey, I'm ready to get rid of it. So pretty much you're just helping them out of that situation. In this section, if the house has a large mortgage, if we agree on terms, would you consider selling with owner financing? Yes or no? If yes, okay, I'll have my boss call to discuss terms and what's the best time to call. If they say no, so what you do is you basically want to just clarify, say, what you're saying is if you don't get full price and all cash, you won't sell. And if they say yes, okay, well then that wouldn't make sense for us, thank you, and hang up. Don't try to make deals if it's not a deal. If they say no, I say okay. Well, I'll have my boss call you and cover the different ways in which we can buy. So basically, if you follow the script, you'll be okay. This one for free and clear houses, if they have a free and clear, say, well, you take monthly payments for your equity. If yes, then you follow the script here. I have my boss call you to discuss terms. When's the best time? If no, so what you're saying is if you don't get full price and all cash, you won't sell. They say yes, okay. Sorry, it wouldn't make sense for us to go forward with this. You have a great day. If things change, give us a call back. If no, okay, well, I'll have my boss give you a call and discuss the several ways in which we can buy your house. Basically, you don't want to force it. The worst thing you could do is try to manipulate or force somebody to do something they don't want to do, because they're going to be a bigger pain in the butt later. You'll be wanting to give that whatever money you make off the deal. You want to give them that house back. I promise you, I've been there. If they're willing to work with you, they'll work with you. If they're not, you'll find out. But just don't try to make something out of nothing. If right here you'll see it says, how did you arrive at your asking price? Reason for selling. That's important, guys. You want to find out why they're selling. Does it need any repairs? You need to know that as well. What type of repairs? When do you want to move? You see that starred, so you want to make sure to get the answer. Is your house listed? You want to know if they're listing it with a realtor or not. You don't want to interfere with their realtor's contract. You want to wait till it's expired. Okay. The description is kind of important, but not really. If you want to get the bed and bath, obviously. Square footage, yes. Whether the construction, really not that important. Lot size, really not that important. I usually want to get the refrigerator with the house, the range, dishwasher, obviously. We're in Texas, so there's not too many basements here. Carport, it's not that important. Is the house vacant or occupied? That is important, because a vacant house you can sell a lot quicker than you can an occupied house, because they're going to need time to move. You need to, if the house is occupied, you need to find out when they're going to move. That is important. Are there any association fees? You need to find that out and how much it is. And on the bottom, there's notes you can put down if there's any things you think might be prudent or beneficial to you. But this is just a guideline. If you want a copy of this, and this was from one of my mentors, actually, helped teach me the business. If you want to get a copy of this form, please, send me a message or send a comment or email, whatever, and I'll be more than happy to give it to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment or questions below the video. Next time, what I'm going to do is cover about setting up an appointment and actually going to the house and what you do from there. Okay? All right. You have a great day.